Hey everybody, and welcome to Tech Talk Live. I'm Justin Spence, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Today is a special Valentine's Day edition of Tech Talk Live. We are going to talk about technical stuff, specifically Studio One. But because it's Valentine's Day, we have a special running today. We've got 50% off of a purchase of Studio One Artist, Studio One Producer, and Studio One Professional. We're going to talk a little bit about why you'd upgrade, what's cool about the different versions. I've got a couple of screenshots I'm going to show you about that. We're also going to talk to Alessia Starr, who is a PreSonus endorsed artist. She's going to tell us a little bit about how she uses Studio One to create her songs. She's going to tell us a little bit about her record herself. We're just going to chat it up and have a good time here on Tech Talk. So I'd like to first kind of say again?
It's not broadcasting.
Not broadcasting. Okay, so we're having some broadcast issues. So hang tight, Alessia. Sorry. Yeah, Brad just called me.
Yeah, Brad from the second pick.
Okay, great. Okay.
Ready?
Almost. Okay. Got to do this one more time. Try it again. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Talk Live. Happy Valentine's Day for all the PreSonus lovers out there. Today is a special Tech Talk. It is Valentine's Day, and for Valentine's Day, because PreSonus loves everybody out there in the world, we are offering Studio One Artist, Studio One Professional, and Studio One Producer half off the regular retail price. So you should definitely take advantage of that. That's for today only. All of our people on our email list today got a notification about this, and definitely take advantage of that. We're going to show you a little bit about, what's what and why things are cool. I'm actually going to go over here to my computer. I've got these pulled up, and I want to show you some screenshots real quick that I took to keep me in line. So let's kind of take a look at this. So you have Studio One Artist, you've got Studio One Producer, and Studio One Professional. Just so everybody knows, the Studio One Artist ships with any recording interface that has the PreSonus logo on it. So if you get a audio box USB, VSL 1818 like what I've got here, or a 44 or a 22, or you get a Studio Live, or you get a Fire Studio Mobile or Project, any interface comes with Studio One Artist in it. And Studio One Artist is pretty awesome. It's unlimited track count. You've got great usable plugins, not just plugins that are thrown in the box that are just there. These are actually useful plugins that sound amazing. It's a really great way to get started as an artist. So if you're not going to go full on like studio recording kind of thing and you're trying to get your ideas down, Studio One Artist is definitely a great way to start. Now, Studio One Producer adds a couple of things that you might need if you're kind of in the middle of like maybe doing some pre-production and getting your stuff out to like a professional recording studio. It adds third-party support like AUVST support, rewire support, and MP3 import and export, which you don't have in Studio One Artist, which can be very useful to a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of guitar players, drummers, musicians, and people that are actually just making and producing tracks. So Producer is definitely something cool. It's the next step up to move to from Studio One Artist to, if you don't need everything a Studio One Professional has. Now, Professional has Melodyne Essential correction. Now that kind of comes in it. They all kind of come with that, Melodyne's integration, but it's a trial on Studio One Artist and Producer. So Professional has it, it's in there, so that's a really cool thing to have. Integrated mastering. The mastering is just unbelievable how it works inside of Studio One. You can do a song, which is a multi-track mix, and then it's actually affiliated with a project. So if you make any changes in the song, it is shown in the project page or the master. So you can make changes, you can kind of work, you can mix and master all at the same time. It makes it a lot easier for people who may not be mastering engineers to take their product and make it a professional release. There's also, SoundCloud integration where you can digitally release, and Exchange, which is something that we're going to elaborate a little on when we talk to Alessia. We have Alessia via Skype, who's in the UK right now. We're going to be talking to her about her record. We're going to be talking to her about how she creates music inside of Studio One. I'm going to ask her questions about just personal stuff. I'm going to try and embarrass her because that's kind of my thing. That's what I do. I probably won't do that. And we're going to take a look at one of her videos. It's an amazing video. I'm actually downloading it right now so we can get that rocking and rolling and let you guys just kind of get a sample of her overall, what she's doing, how she's creating, how it's changing lives, I might add. And how we just love her here at PreSonus and how we like what's happening and how she's using Studio One to make this product. So I want to flip over here to my Skype so I can see Alessia. Alessia, I know you can't see me, but I'm pretty sure that you can hear me.
Hey.
Oh, yes, you can hear me.
I can talk.
Excellent, excellent.
Hey.
That's great, great.
Hello.
Yes, you can talk.
Am I live?
You are live. You are live.
Oh, hello,
and
everyone.
kicking.
Hi.
So, okay, and we're going to go to the website in a sec, but the website is alessiastar.com, and I'm going to spell that out for everybody before the end of the show so they know how to get there and all that good stuff. Can you give me a little bit of backstory on yourself as a musician and how you got started and all that stuff?
Yeah, I came from Siberia about 4.5 years ago to England because I heard Led Zeppelin. That just changed my life.
That changed my life as well.
It really did. And I decided that I want to be a songwriter and a singer, and I want to be a real artist. So I left for England. Now, if you're wondering why I can speak English as I do, I also graduated from university back home. That was very boring, but hey, I've got a degree in linguistics, therefore I can speak English. So
you're doing very well. Like I said before, I think you speak English better than everybody here at PreSonus. So
oh, come on.
You're doing wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Now,
but yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, I know that you're using Studio One. Can you just tell us, how do you use Studio One? I know how I use it, and it probably doesn't make any sense to anyone, but you know, in your creative process, when you're writing songs and you're getting ideas down, how is it that you're using Studio One to create your magic?
Now, thanks for calling it magic, because I hope it will end up as magic. I was hearing great things about Studio One before. I was using other great, very, very famous DAW, but I'm converted completely, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. So I purchased Artist, and I mean, it blew my socks off. I was just like, good Lord, because the studio that I'm working on is just a homemade studio. I'm just doing it from my bedroom. But the quality that I heard from my speakers and headphones was mind-blowing for a starter, because it's an Artist. Obviously, it's not HD, and it's just I mean, it's got unlimited tracks and everything, but it didn't allow like third-party plugins or stuff. But yet it was such a great quality, and it locked you into this environment of creation that you couldn't use outside stuff, and then actually forced you into making out things inside the software, which I love. But as I said, the quality of the sound, the separation in the tracks, the clarity, the width, I was absolutely blown away.
Right. I think that with Studio One, not to interrupt you, sorry.
That's right.
With the native plugins, if they're actually usable, I mean, I've used a couple of different DAWs, and there are other good DAWs out there. I am a Studio One dude, though. But what comes in the box with Studio One is unbelievably useful. It's not just something that they packaged in addition.
Right. Okay. That's it. Of course, then I upgraded to Pro, and that is a completely different story. I mean, what happened is, first of all, again, it's HD, it's great clarity, and the best thing about it is that it's got this integrated mastering that allows you to mix your master your track, basically. Normally you would have had to send it to a mastering studio, where they would put it, hopefully, through some good stuff like Fairchild or Wish. But hey, I don't have it, so what I have is Studio One Pro, which comes with great plugins like multi-band dynamics. It's a great compressor. I would even go as far as saying it's the multi-band dynamics is a difference between a demo and a finished, real, professional product. So that's just great.
Because that's definitely something that's not available. That's not one of the things that's available in artists. When you do
No.
upgrade to Pro, you do get multi-band dynamics, a lot of different
This is
things.
like one of the things that you get. I mean, when you upgrade, you've got so much, as you said prior to this.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you find yourself, when you're using Studio One, do you find yourself mixing your track and kind of mastering your track at the same time? Do you find that you just mix and then do your master, and if you need to make a change, you go in? Because I do both. When I'm using the project page and I've got a couple of tracks in the project that are my songs, I find myself mixing and mastering at the same time.
Yes, because what happens is you work on different songs during a period of time. And then, of course, they end up sounding a bit different from each other.
Sure.
Sometimes even a lot different. Like, dynamics is all over the show and it's over compressed or anything. And then, of course, you bring it into the project page and you think, it sounds different. Now, this is a great opportunity to level your, all your levels, all your EQ, make it all sound the same, make sure that it's not clipping, it's not, peaking, it's not sharp, it's not dull. Yes, I do find myself actually going back to the mix window, as I call it, mix window, of the song,
Sure.
and editing stuff. Like, say, I think, you know what, I've overused a bit of convolution here. It actually makes it too much.
Well,
I take it down, I revert back to project page. Obviously, I save it, revert back to project page, click on update, and hey presto, it's all done for me, and I'm not losing any fades or anything. It's great.
I think that once you start like compressing stuff in the master, it's bringing things up in the levels of the overall mix that you didn't hear because it was lower in the mix than it is in the master. So just like you were saying with the convolution reverb, or really any kind of any EQ or overall tone can really be changed when you start slamming stuff, essentially.
Yes,
So-
you basically end up with a chance to color your product, your entire album,
I think
in a way you want.
You used the term sonic fingerprint, which I thought was amazing. So it's allowing you to change.
I did.
Allowing you to change your sonic fingerprint, I guess.
Well, I hope I have a sonic fingerprint. I hope. I mean, I've been doing it. Look, I'm not like Tony Maserati, okay? I'm not someone like, I don't know, Dave Pinsada. I'm just an artist who's trying to produce myself.
Right.
I'm not a producer. But the great thing with Studio One is that it makes me feel like I am one.
Right.
It makes me feel like I can actually do something. But I've been doing it for like 4 years. I tell you what, for the last 3, I've been doing it all wrong. I've been over-compressing, over-EQing, I've been doing so many mistakes that I come back now to my old mixes and go, oh, Jesus Christ, what was I thinking?
Right, that's definitely something, even as an experienced engineer, I found that using Studio One allows me to hear how I was doing it wrong before.
Yes.
And it makes it easier to experiment, it makes it easier to produce the track.
It does. It makes you actually, as I keep saying, color. It gives you this great chance to color your album and create that sound that is yours. As I say, hopefully I will have my own sonic fingerprint. It's something that if you hear me on the radio, when you hear me on the radio, one day it will happen. Hey, they'll be like, oh hey, there's Alessia. That's her. Even before it gets into the song.
Right.
Because this is what's missing these days. I think. Well, that's not just personal opinion. You listen to the radio and everybody sounds the same. I mean, first of all, there's this like loudness war going on because everybody's over compressing everything.
Right.
Second of all, they just love this auto-tune. Well, I mean, it's great for some tracks, but everything's auto-tune.
Right.
The problem is I got nothing against it. I mean, if it has to be auto-tuned, then fair enough. But the point is, it makes everything sound the same.
Right.
People just lost their, well, not people, I mean, the music industry just going that way that everything sounds the same. It's losing its identity and it's losing its own sonic fingerprint. Like, in the 80s or in the 90s, for example, if people was Whitney Houston on the radio, they'd be like, oh, that's Whitney. Because they used, I don't know what they used on her, some Quantac reverb and Fairchild perhaps.
Right.
But it had its own sound.
Right.
lots of reverb, but it was her sound, whoever her producer was.
Let me ask you a question. I know that we talked about this a few days ago, and we were talking about, hey, what are we going to talk about? We were kind of getting our script together. You were telling me that you're using Open Air, which is a new thing in Studio One 2, and it has impulse response. It's a convolution reverb that's native. It's not, it's not a native. It is native. It's to Studio One that allows you to make your own reverb. It has a bunch of presets, but you can make your own reverbs. You can use the impulse response tool to make your own convolution reverbs. Now, I know that you're using stuff online. Can you tell me a little bit about how you're using Open Air?
Yeah, right, okay. I could show it to you as well, but you know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess everyone else.
Yeah, just, just tell us your experience specifically, and I know it's a way that you're using it. It's a creative tool, right? So
It is. I tell you what, internet is your friend because you can find lots of, well, sometimes it's not, but hey, when you want, sorry, my voice is going, you can find lots of free impulse responses online if you hunt really, really hard. Now, the best thing of all is that I found these guys called signaltonoise.com, I think it was, but then I think they moved the website to another one. I can actually find a link. But what they did, they were like these IR freaks, they loved their old hard gear, in the 80s, from old reverbs, like Lexicon, Recasti, Quantac, TC6000. And then just what they did is that they took these old pieces of software that are like holy grails of reverbs and actually put them in different spaces and then captured it. But the best thing of all is that what happens is that you end up with all the graded spaces that have been scattered across the music since Pink Floyd to Madonna, and you've got this great choice of all these reverbs. Of course, you find it for free online. Maybe Recast are not happy about it, but they can't do anything about it because, if somebody used their hardware, then, you can create your own impulse response. Right. That's great. It makes me sound good.
Well, yeah, reverb always makes things sound a lot better, and having, being able to, get out there on the net and grab some IRs or create your own is definitely a cool tool.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say something quickly. My first thing was I was overdoing it. Say I use Open Air, yeah? Normally when you open it, the plugin, and drag in your space, whatever you've chosen, it actually is quite a lot of it. So I tend to turn it down, give it about like 10, around about 10 sort of % of it, and then listen to it or, make sure that it sounds good. And then walk away from it like for a day, and then come back. Because what I found out is that next day you come in and say, good Lord, that's too much. And turn it by half. That's
is
the
there
trick.
really too much reverb? I didn't think that was a real thing. I thought that there was never too much reverb, right?
Well, sometimes, I'm just talking about myself here. I'm not in no way trying to tell everybody, don't use reverb, guys. I was sort of talking about my own experiences. It depends on the music. It depends on the source, you see. What you put in or what you actually end up with in the end is very personal. It's up to you how you want it. But that's what I found with my own sort of voice, my own vocal recordings.
Cool. Okay, so check this out. What we're probably going to do in the next couple of minutes is take some questions. I'm sure there's some people that want to know about the discount for Studio One. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to want to sign off with you, and I want to play your video. Is there a way that we can kind of let people know how they can get in touch with you and communicate with you directly?
Yeah, they can go to www.olesiastar.com, which is, can I spell it?
Of course.
Olesya, and then star, as it happens to be the first 4 letters of my real last name, before anybody says, oh, big head or something. It really is. It's just too long and unpronounceable, too many consonants. Right. So it's just the first 4 letters. Then you can find my social media links there. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. You can actually contact me through my management, but hey, I get it.
Right, right.
Yes, you can write to me.
So they can
Please
check
do.
you out and they can listen to your music and see what you're doing in Studio One, and they can download your stuff and give you lots of money, correct?
Hey, yes, please.
Well, thank you definitely for your time. We appreciate you talking
Thank
to us
you.
about your story. We definitely appreciate you using Studio One. PreSonus is
That's
glad to have you as an artist.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and play your video. I'm going to sign off with you, and I appreciate it, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Justin. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to flip over to the interwebs, and I'm going to play Alessia's video, which is it's really great. And then we'll take some questions, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Studio One Valentine's Day discount, the 50 off discount. So let's check this bad boy out, and let's just go from there. If she'll play for me.
It's loading. Let's just ask questions.
All right, let's go to questions. Let me get this bad boy loaded up. I'm going to go to my Skype here and let Mr. Brad give me some questions. While we're doing that, I'm going to pop up a little bit of information about this sweet discount. Let me grab it here real quick. So what I've got here on my screen, and you'll see in a second, is the cost, the retail cost of Studio One Artist, Producer, Professional, the Artist to Producer upgrades. All of these today and today only are 50 off of the number that you see there. So you definitely are going to want to check that out, because it's definitely something to take advantage of. You know, Studio One is well worth what we're, what it cost. But today, because it's Valentine's Day, we can definitely get in touch or definitely take advantage of the 50% discount. So let's take a couple of questions. Let's see. Here's a mixing question. Do I get my balance? Okay, we have a question about how do I get my balance between the instruments set first, or do I EQ the tracks first and then set the balance? Okay, that's a great question. And the answer is you do it however you want to. I mean, that's really the only question or answer as far as that's concerned. What I do and what a buddy of mine do when we were mixing our records is we'll get the sounds that we want on each individual thing, and then we'll kind of mix those together, because the bass guitar might not sound amazing, and just because I can mix it and make it fit with everything else doesn't mean it's the best that it could be. So I think we mix individually and then kind of start mixing together, and that's just the way that we do it. That's only the way that we do it. That doesn't mean that that's how everyone else does it. It's really about you and your workflow. And Studio One's going to allow you to work in any way that you want to work. So definitely take advantage of that and just experiment. If I'm doing basic recordings, how does Pro help me over Artist? Well, there's a couple of things. If you're doing basic recordings, Artist for me is definitely a way to get your ideas down, and you can do full multi-tracks with it. So, you can record and you can mix and you can burn CDs, and that's all great. It just, with mastering integration and release to SoundCloud and those couple of things there, for me, even as a beginner recording engineer, it seems to me it's easier to learn how to master, and because you need to master your stuff to get it out on the web and to get it on a disc and to sell it to people. So being able to use the integration of the mix or song page and the master project page allows you to learn how to master. Because you can kind of go back and forth. I need to tweak the mix a little bit because it's now too loud because I've brought the overload level up in the master. So that integration itself is probably, is definitely what I'd want to do. Also, release to SoundCloud. Being able to shoot right from my software, like my idea, and shoot it right up to the cloud is awesome. I do all of my mixes this way, for instance, and I know that even if you're not doing recordings for money, if you want to let somebody listen to something, instead of burning it on a CD and mailing it to them, or handing it off, you can just shoot it up to the cloud and send them a link, let them listen to it. You can embed the SoundCloud files into Facebook, and people can play it right there. It doesn't redirect them or anything. It's just a really elegant way to get people to listen to your stuff. So just those two things I think are great. With Studio One Pro, you get Melodyne, and it's you know, you get it. It's not just a trial version like it is in Studio One Artist and Studio One Producer. Melodynes are really cool. It's integrated into the interface of Studio One, which makes it very simple to use. Those are the couple of things of the reason why I would want to move forward. If you don't think that you need those things, then Artist is definitely a great way to go. Then you don't, you know, no big deal. Just use Artist is sick. It's awesome. But if you want 64-bit, you want third party, you want MP3, you want SoundCloud, you want mastering integration, you know, Studio One Pro is definitely the way to go. And now, you know, take advantage of the upgrade. How do I learn more about Studio One? Talk about YouTube videos a bit. Okay. Learning more about Studio One, you know, definitely get it. There's a 30-day free trial version on our website. Get it now. It's full on and it's rocking. You can check it out and you can actually use it. It's useful. So learn more that way. To learn how to use a copy that you've already got, if you're using Artist, Producer, or Professional, there are tons of videos on Vimeo and YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/PreSonus Audio, that's our page on YouTube, and you can check stuff out. Now, you don't have to just check our stuff out. There are a lot of users out there that have made some pretty good videos. But you know, if I'm going to tell you, to do something, you probably want to go to PreSonus Audio. But there's a lot of other users out there that have very useful information. Also on Vimeo, it's vimeo.com/PreSonus. So definitely check out the videos, because who wants to read a manual, right? Or read the manual. It's really very well written. Thank you, John Hillman. Check that out, and that's just, just using a software is going to make you better and better as you use it. It doesn't matter if you're using Studio One or another software. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Let's see, if you have a higher version of Melodyne, will it integrate into Pro? The question is, if I have a higher or a different version of Melodyne, I think as long as you have the version that's now with a release of 2.0 extension through Melodyne, I'm not 100% sure about that the version that you have will work with the integration in Studio One. There is an extension download through your Celemony user bank, I guess, where when you sign in, where all of your, if you have a bunch of Melodyne keys, or if you have Melodyne registered, your registration page, that will allow you to get up to date, so you can integrate your already existing Melodyne version into Studio One. That's going to be most of the questions for now. We are picking a winner to get Studio One Pro. So not only are we offering the 50% discount for Valentine's Day, we're also going to be giving one of the guys that that signed in today, one of you viewers that signed in, a free copy of Studio One Pro. Brad is checking that out right now. He will be emailing you directly, and we will announce you a little bit later. As a matter of fact, he might have just sent it to me. Let's see. He says he's picking a winner and his nose, so he is doing that right now. I think that's going to be it. So here we go. I'm just waiting for him. He's holding me hostage here with this answer. Anyway, thanks for watching Tech Talk. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. We're not going to play this video. We're having some issues with it loading on my computer, of course. But definitely go see Alessia at OLESYA*STAR.com. All one word. And check out her videos. All the stuff was done in Studio One. It sounds really great. It's really cool. I'd like to thank my boy John here for hanging out, handling up on some discount, some Studio One discounts right now for us.
All you need is love.
All we need is love.
That's all you need.
Again, thanks for watching Tech Talk. We want to thank Alessia Starr for coming in over Skype, and thank you all for tuning in and watching today. If you have any other questions, hit us up at education@presonus.com. Thank you again for watching.